VegFest, bringing people together one more time. Okay. Oh. 3, 2, VegFest! All right. Great. Well, thank you so much. Enjoy your ice cream. All right. Okay. The hot sweat makes it look authentic. Okay, where are we going? Yeah. I should have brought my cap. All right. This is C here. I'm at the DC VegFest here for the C3 Network.
DC VegFest is the largest vegan festival on the East Coast. It is the place to try the best plant-based cuisine and learn more about a variety of vegan products and services.
Well, this is an annual celebration. It is this Saturday, September 24th in Yards Park. All the details are on the website, dcvegfest.com. It's all free, so we encourage attendees to come, whether you're vegan, vegetarian, or what we like to call pre-vegan. We want everyone to come out. It's kid-friendly, dog-friendly. We'll have speakers, cooking demos. We'll have a kids zone, a barking lot. You can bring your dog. Beer garden. The beer garden is hosted by Busboys and Poets. So it's a fun celebration. We want everyone to come out and get lots of free food samples.
And it's free.
It's all free. We'll have some free food samples as well. The first 1,000 people will get free bags loaded with lots of product samples as well.
And this is a big festival. You're expecting 20,000?
20,000 people this year. Yeah, it's been growing every year, and there's just an incredible interest in this community to learn more about healthy eating, eating that's better for the planet as well as better for animals.
It's C here at the DC VegFest 2016, and I am here with the Garden of the Gate.
First person lined up around 8:30, and so people lined up until about 10 or so, and then at 11 we say, all right, we start handing them out, and by 11:13 they were gone.
That speaks to the popularity of this event and also the fervor of people really wanting these bags and these t-shirts. What do you attribute that to?
They're pretty cool. The bags themselves are almost like an award for getting up and braving the time. And I was here, and kind of an honor thing. And the bags have really cool stuff in it. So there's like little snacks, and there's little recipes and coupons, things like that. So they're really cool too. So,
is there any kind of identifying trait with vegans and vegetarians?
So diverse. It's so diverse and eclectic. So I've seen all kinds of people. I don't think there's one trait.
As a vegan, whether young, old, tall, short, black, white, whatever, we all have this unique energy. There's a unique energy, and I'm happy to call myself crazy.
I would agree there's an energy. I don't think it's crazy, but I think it's a warm energy for the most part. Everybody's pretty accepting and friendly. Everybody's pretty friendly, so.
Okay, good. Well, we appreciate you supporting the cause.
Thank you, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
So close to the
Here I am at the DC VegFest 2016. What is this attraction called?
It's called Vegan Treat. It's like a sweets and bakery location.
And how did you hear about it?
I heard from her that the
I
went.
I bodily
all
dragged
the
her
way
into the line because they have an ad in the brochure that they're like the informational booklet for the event, and I saw one picture of their stuff. It was like, I need that in my face immediately.
We also just got to take a look at the menu, and that was enticing as well.
Now, what are you looking forward to?
Oh, sweet treats.
Have you seen it? Have you seen it? Because literally everything. There's a cannoli donut that sounds phenomenal. There was something called a pretzel donut. I don't know if that's a donut with pretzels in it or a donut that's shaped like a pretzel, but either way, I'm on board. They have like peanut butter chocolate buddy bars sort of deals, right? Like the fingers with like waffle cookies and just everything on the menu. Cannolis, pumpkin cannolis dipped in chocolate.
Passion fruit.
I need it.
I dare to ask, are you starting with dessert?
No, actually. No, I did the grown-up thing. And
Good.
ate a lot of free vegan cheese first. So we also actually just stopped off at, there's a vegan barbecue joint over there that we just checked out. Had a barbecue rib sandwich and charred broccoli. It was phenomenal.
Are you guys just a bunch of hippies?
Yes. I'm sorry. I mean, not 100%, but let's be real. There's a lot of hippie going on. I'm also a young professional. I'm a technical editor for an engineering contractor. So there's definitely some diversity in the stereotypes with which I identify, but I can rock a boho skirt on a weekend is all I'm saying. I'm a hippie because I think that a lot of the values that kind of come out of that, of your respect for the environment and wanting to promote peace and love among the people that you spend your time with, those things are valuable. And so hippie has always had a positive connotation for me. But if I were to be described by the people that I spend time with, certainly in the office and probably among my friends too, that I don't think that they would say that stereotype is like purely descriptive.
It's one of those things about taking a negative word and making it your own. Geek has gone through it, nerd has gone through it, and now the geeks have inherited the earth. So it's a great distinction.
The biggest thing is that when we're talking to people from outside of the community, we need to start from a place of understanding, of coming to them where they are. I think that people tend to perceive veganism as a cult because you get a lot of people whose form of activism is to not care how other people feel about what they're doing and what they're saying. And as much as I understand and see the validity of, righteous frustration with immoral practices that you encounter, it doesn't change people's minds to get up in their faces and scream about it. That would be that's my advice.
Food in almost every culture and almost every corner of the world brings people together. Mm-hmm. It's emotionally charged, it's culturally charged, but it can bring people together. Beautiful.
All right, I'm here at Busboys and Poets, which is a DC institution. They have a couple of different locations in the area, and it's a great community. It's more than just a restaurant. It's more of an experience. How would you describe it?
Oh man, my name is Matam. I am the director of poetry events for Busboys and Poets, and handling all the poetry programming and poetry open mics and things of that sort for all six of the current locations. So Busboys and Poets, it is a community where we bring art and social change via food. How we connect the community through the arts and via the meals that we share with them, and how we create the spaces where we can have the necessary dialogue that is always needed, right? And have the difficult conversations and come to a compromise and bring people together so that we can offer the proper solutions, right? We're a space for all of the things, and it's welcoming to all people, all genders, all spectrums, and all ages. We have things for young people that we do just as much as we do for the older, mature crowd as well, and everything in between. So come on out to Busboys.
This restaurant isn't exclusively a vegan restaurant, and yet there's a symmetry, there's a natural, organic connection with the community, with the vegans and everything else. What do you attribute that spirit?
Man, I think it goes back again to asking, what does the community need, right? And what are the things that we also need in setting the precedents, right? Of how we are, for one, opening ourselves to as many people in different demographics as possible, but also doing the intentional work and learning what is safe for our environment and what is needed for our environment, right? And being able to offer options where everything that we do is organic, even though we're not exclusively vegan, but everything that we do is organic. Today, for example, we're serving the vegan chicken stir fry, right? Which is made of soy chicken, right? And not real chicken. But it's just a powerful statement to be able to be there are people who are not vegans who still come to Busboys and try our vegan options and be wow, I didn't know that vegan food tasted this good.
Absolutely.
we want to do it. We want to show them that, yeah, you can eat healthy and be vegan and things of that sort and still enjoy your food experience. You know, it's not all tofu and it tastes blah, blah, blah. No, not at all.
And finally, let me ask you about the feedback loop between the vegan community and Busboys and Poets. Because since it's not exclusively a vegan restaurant, when you see the amount of people that show up for these events, they're very specialized events. So when you see that kind of activity, that kind of energy, does the team come back and then say, you know what, let's see what more we can do?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, no, we are very always welcome to feedback, you know, between, you know, your regular outlets like, you know, Yelp and things of that sort, so and all that. But we also have people that very directly come to our website and write a review or something and say something or offer like, hey, like, do y'all have these options? Or people that call into the office and say, hey, we're looking to do a buffet or feed, you know, da-da-da, we want to do an event. Do you have these options available? And then they say, well, you know, maybe try to include these options that are done. We're like, you know what, yeah. So every day we're going back to with our chefs, with our, you know, leaders and thinking about what are new ways that we can keep our menu fresh. Because it's so important to be able to know that your community listens to you the same way that you listen to your community. And that is so important to really maintain that powerful relationship.
All right, well, thank you so much. And if we're looking for you, how do we find the red shoes?
Oh, the red shoes? www.busboysandpoets.com. Busboys, A-N-D, Poets, everywhere, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all outlets.
Well, it's obvious that he's well read. Thank you, I really appreciate it.
Thank you, boss.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Found the red shoes. What prompted you to attend this event? Was it anything hardcore? Was it casual?
I saw it on Facebook, and then as part of the Facebook kind of ads, I saw that there was some sort of something about vegan protein. I've not found that yet, but I found a lot of good food.
He invited me.
Well, let me ask you, this is great then. Is he having any kind of positive impact to encourage you to maybe at least consider the vegan or vegetarian lifestyle?
Yeah, I would say I have a lot of food allergies, so it would be an interesting mix to find out what I could eat. But yeah, I would consider eating less meat or eating meat once fewer per week, days per week or something.
Now, I see you giggling. You're not buying that at all, are you?
I just like that I got credit for it.
What would it take to maybe convince you to kind of go, yeah, you know, I need to look into this deeper?
I think accessibility to food probably, and some recipes that I could get used to. I mean, it's hard to overcome cooking from your mother's kitchen, right? And that for me was always something to do with meat and potatoes.
What would you say to him to kind of push him over the edge?
I think that I would try and help him facilitate like those allergies and like what changes can be made to actually make that part of life a bit easier.
Getting the perspective of someone who's not a vegan, does that have any impact seeing how normal the food looks?
I don't know if veganism should like try to look like mainstream food. Like, why try to replicate, mac and cheese or some chorizo sausage? Why not just make your own thing and do it?
Some people do like to like replicate things that are like more like from childhood, and some people do like to do like the more natural route, and then there's a variation between.
There's a couple of groups of benefits. One are the people who are transitioning, and so they want their hamburger and they want their turkey dinner, and so having options that replicate that, it makes it a little easier for that transition. And they perceive veganism as salads and beets and all these different things. So, but I think it just comes down to what I think when you look around, you see all the people here. People are different, and people like different things. And I think one of the great things about the community here is that there's so many different types of people, but they share this common bond.
I think it's all about the educational component of it and being able to like talk about why you're making these decisions or why you choose to eat the way that you want to eat, and then being flexible. I think that's why it works for the two of us.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. All right. One of the interesting things about this event is that there's so many different ways to represent this community. There's food, there's different activism, there's supporting animals and bringing the pets, and you can see all different types of representation. Here we have one of the more unique ones.
I want to mention that when we are buying some food, we look for the ingredients, what the ingredients it has, but we forget there's one more important ingredient, and that's our thoughts. In what consciousness am I eating? Am I eating hurriedly? Am I watching some negative news and eating it? Because that affects the way I think. But if I'm taking 10 minutes time off while I'm eating, where I'm thinking or listening to something positive, it helps me for next 3-4 hours to be more calm and peaceful. Yeah.
So it's more about the respect for your environment, respect for the inner you, the outer you, and this is how it aligns with compassion for animals and just a wellness and that type of thing.
We also do once every month called Cooking for Peace, where we talk about how our thoughts affect the food and how the food affects the thoughts. So we even talk about how do we focus on our conscious when we are eating, when we are cooking. So we believe that affects the way we think. So the animals, also we do a lot of vegan cooking every month. So, and that's also free of charge. So one can come and enjoy that as well.
It really is inspiring to see how veganism is less just about, I just want to eat some food. And it's more about how we connect with each other and our environment and the world. And this is something that might not be on somebody's radar, and yet it fits in perfectly with this kind of consciousness. So it's really good.
The Meditation Museum concept is focused on positive thinking. It's not connected to any religion, belief system, or anything. It's non-denominational. It's a non-profit. And, all walks of life can appreciate positive thinking nowadays.
Yeah, and it should be noted that all of this to a lot of people might sound like mumbo jumbo. It might sound like just some random stuff, but this is science. This is really a science of understanding these kinds of rhythms in nature. People like and organizations like Facebook and Google and Microsoft, they run these studies and they show how people watching certain ads, certain commercials on their timeline, etc., how that group ultimately feels more sad, more depressed, more angry, more down. And when they show and target other groups with more positive commercials, positive ads, positive posts, that group is inherently more happy, more willing to do positivity and express that. So it's not something abstract. It's a real connection to how people react to their world and their environment.
We have an app called Pause for Peace. It's a free app you can download in the iPhone, tablet, or Android phones, where it has upcoming events and all the meditation tips, etc. We also have a website called meditationmuseum.org. You can Google Meditation Museum. You'll find tons of articles on, like in Google, for 3 pages. And we have Facebook, Twitter, Meetup, a lot of online presence. So Sister Jenna is our director. She also does writes for Huffington Post. She also trained U.S. Coast Guard on how to be stress-free living, stress-free at work. So there's a lot of variety in our workshop. We just did about 200 workshops last just 1 year.
No, that's great. Thank you so much. So I wanted to get your perspective on being vegetarian in a world of vegan, and how were you interested in maybe making that transition, or why you haven't made that transition?
So I just recently became a vegetarian. Well, I guess kind of recent, 11 months ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I kind of made it for health reasons, but at the same time, I do see the benefit of being a vegan as well. And so I've taken a lot of dairy products out of my repertoire of things that I eat, but I really love eggs, so it's really hard for me to transition away from them, but I am trying.
Have you heard about the vegan egg?
I haven't.
Really? There's actually a booth over here somewhere, but they make vegan, you know those, I think it's called Follow Your Heart. Follow Your Heart, they make vegan mayonnaise, vegan sour cream, vegan cheese. And one of the things which a lot of people love, they say it cooks just like eggs, tastes just like eggs, everything, is called vegan egg. So look for that. It's very popular. If that's the one thing holding you back, you're there. You're there. But let me ask you this. What happened 11 months ago that made you want it to go, just out of within your family, friends and family, I want to be vegan. I mean, I want to be vegetarian.
I don't know. I think I was just eating meat one day, and it just, for some reason, just turned me off. And it was a really random, spur of the moment thing, and I was like, I'm just going to quit meat. Let's quit it and see what happens. And I haven't felt that repulsion from anything else, so I just kind of stopped eating it.
So a lot of people have that kind of aha moment. They watch a lot of these documentaries. Have you heard about, Earthlings and all these different videos?
I've heard of them, but I haven't watched any of them. I try to stay away from things that sound like kind of scary or gruesome-esque. And a lot of the, I think a lot of the things that promote either being a vegetarian or vegan are kind of scary. So I stay away from those things, but I do see the benefit in the lifestyle itself.
No, this is really interesting to me because you kind of came to this moment by yourself. There wasn't anything that you can recall that made you said, I want to stop eating meat.
There wasn't anything. Yeah, I just decided to change on my own.
Okay, well, then I'm glad I was here to maybe push you over the edge. Check out that vegan egg. In fact, if you go find it and you see me running around bothering people, I'll buy you some vegan egg. So you can take, it comes in a 4-pack. It looks like a quarter of eggs, but it's liquid or whatever. And you can try it out and maybe even follow up and update and say, you know what? This is viable. This is something I'm going to go do. You seem to have an awareness that is coming from inside. So it's really interesting. A lot of people really need an external push. We all discover something. And you gave it milk too?
Yeah. Well, I've never liked milk. My mom told me as like a toddler, I did not like milk. So I've been like soy and rice and all those other types of milk, almond. Milk has never been my thing. Yeah.
Your support structure. Are you the only vegetarian in your network of friends and family?
I am not. So I actually have a lot of vegetarian friends and a couple of vegan friends as well. But I think actually all of the friends that I came with today all eat meat. So I'm the only one in the group.
How's that working out for you?
It's working fine. I'm not tempted.
Now, what feedback have they provided you in trying or sampling some of the meals here?
They're pretty supportive. I've actually gotten them to try lots of different things here today, so I'm really happy about that.
It's good that they were willing to come and support you in this. That's what family is about. So it's really good to have that, even though that they are meat eaters. And what we hope is that you'll slowly infect them one by one. Maybe give them some of those vegan eggs. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And good luck on your journey. Find me, and I'll get you those vegan eggs.
I will. It's my birthday weekend. I'm here from Baltimore.
Hey, all right. Girlfriend. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
got a green juice.
For the past like 4 or 5 years, I've been on YouTube, but mostly for the Hispanic community. It's a Spanish channel, has around 200,000 subscribers, and a lot of people have changed their lives, improved in numerous amount of ways.
I ran into some other YouTube celebrities.
Not celebrities, just regular people.
You're covering this vegan fest, this vegetarian fest.
And it's getting bigger and bigger every single year, because I went to the very first one, and it was like in a small little lawn. And now look at it, it's like growing, and this is what, I guess what we're doing right now. It's just slowly showing people what the whole thing is about, plant-based diet, getting people healthy as best as they can. And
because we came like, I think it was 3 years ago. I came like 3 years ago, that was my first time. And it was only like a small parking lot.
Yeah.
But now it's pretty huge, though. There's a lot of people.
I mean, I was here last year, and it was here at the same location, and it wasn't this big. Were you guys here last year as well?
We didn't make it last year, but I was here the previous 2 times. So it's amazing.
Yeah, and one thing I've noticed about Washington, D.C. in general, like the vegan movement is getting bigger, you know?
Oh, yeah.
A lot more vegan restaurants, more people like getting more, like learning more about the vegan diet or just plant-based foods.
Even the menus have changed as well, and I started changing my diet about maybe like 10, 11 years ago. There was nothing. There was like nothing. Maybe you're probably like veggie burger at every restaurant, but that's it. But now it's like you got like small little juice bars, and then you have like different sections like in restaurants, like basically all vegan, and now you got the sign, like the vegan sign on most of the places. So it's working, man. It's pretty nice.
I mean, but 10, 11 years ago, that makes you quite the pioneer. I mean, right now, like you said, it's picking up great steam, but to be vegan 10 years ago, that must have been...
I wasn't actually vegan, and I actually made a video on my channel saying that I wasn't vegan, just for like more aligned with like God. Yeah, so I was like God first, and then love to everything else. So that's the way I view my life.
The diet is vegan, basically, but
my diet is vegan, but it's just that I don't consider myself vegan. Just a child of God.
A lot of people view veganism as like a religion in a way, very culty, very everything else. And your take, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but what I'm hearing is you're viewing it as just a common sense kind of, let's do the right thing, kind of do the healthy thing, and which is cool, because you're normalizing it rather than making it a special thing.
Right. It's just that after watching where the whole vegan movement, but through YouTube, where it actually went, like I saw too much negativity, too much hate, and then this is just me. Like I started asking myself, what's missing like in the people's lives? And for me, it clicked. It was like God is missing. And then like as soon as you get that love of God, then you have love for the people, then you have love for the animals. So it like filters through like from the very like top, if you view it that way, because I know people, you know, different beliefs, but that just like changed my whole like perspective on life. But I love this.
I really am fascinated by that angle, that religious angle, because a lot of people, they use that as a validation, you know, to eat animals, because the animals are, you know, in the Bibles and everything else. And I've always said it never says you must do that. It never says you must eat animals, but there's that perception that they're in there and sacrifice and everything else, that you're supposed to eat animals to honor God. Is there something that, because you have a unique perspective on that angle, that you would say to those people?
I would say that we live in such a world today where it's supposedly more modern, and it makes it easier every single day to get all of your nutrients, all of the food that you actually need on a plant-based diet, that even if it's in the Bible, if it's not, it all depends on how you interpret it, right? But to me, it doesn't really matter. It just matters about, can you be healthy on this diet? And yes, you can. But the thing is that I have viewers who are like from certain regions of Colombia where they can't get enough nuts and seeds, where it's too expensive. And then how do I tell these people not to have like their eggs or have like their chicken or whatever they can get like on a low budget? So like, how do I tell them? How do I love these people? You know? How do I not judge them? So that's like where that whole thing came. Like, no, God loves everyone. You just try to do your best, and yeah, just try to do your best. That's basically it.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have to judge them because they're eating their only available food sources, essentially. You're not expecting anyone to travel 100 miles to get some grain, right? So you make a very good point that people introduce judgment into areas that have nothing to do with judgment. Now the issue is if we provided these communities with different sources of protein, different sources of food, sources, would they take advantage of them? Yes, some would, some wouldn't. So it's not like they're rejecting these, but they're not available to them. If I crash in an airplane and you hear these stories where people are eating other humans, it doesn't mean we're supposed to be eating humans, but they're doing whatever they can in that extreme situation to survive. So I completely hear where you're coming from. I appreciate what you're saying. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much.
Appreciate it, guys.
A world that values love and compassion for everyone. And you wouldn't know it just by looking at him, but he helped change the world. My grandfather is a hero.
At the Mercy for Animals booth.
Yes.
Now, I think even people outside of this community of people are very familiar with this particular organization.
Yes, I would definitely say that it's a very safe bet. Impact is because you see a lot of the studies done by Mercy for Animals on the news. They do a lot of undercover work in many of the factory farms, be they pig farms, chicken farms, dairy farms, whatever, exposing the levels of cruelty. They go into many of these places, and no matter where they go, they see the same types of cruelty. They always get the same explanation. Oh, well, this is just a one-time thing. They go to another place, exact same thing. Go to another place, exact same thing. So, and a lot of these are covered like on ABC News and places like that.
How would you differentiate yourself from other groups like PETA, et cetera?
We don't work in partnership, but we work for the same common goal. We, again, do a lot of the outreach at all these events. PETA does it sometimes as well, but with the undercover work that we do, that is, we seem to be doing that the most. Sometimes it is preaching to the choir. People come over and go, hey, I'm just coming over to say I'm a vegan. I'm happy to be here, blah, blah, blah. Then you have some people who are saying, I just want to learn some more information from you. And I had two gentlemen come over today, and they said, look, we're meat eaters, but we're very interested. Could you tell me, a lot of the meat eaters say things like, oh, there's so many cows. I mean, if you have all these cows, you have to feed humans with them and so forth. And I explained to them, of course, how if we, instead of raising cows and giving them all our vegetables for them to eat, we could feed far more people. And they were very receptive to it and understanding. So I get all kinds of things.
What is Mercy for Animals doing, in addition to the videos and everything else, to target this group who really don't realize that they need to be targeted?
That's absolutely true. And what we do is we do a lot of grassroots events, like leafleting all over the country, at colleges, at like public areas like train stations, piers like in Monaco, in California, all over the place. Just give awareness to people. Just handing out leaflets such as this one, our fresh leaflet that we give out to many places. Is wonderful size for just handing out to people, and it gives information, and people are willing to learn and read this new information.
And finally, can you give any insight into your own personal journey into this world, in a way that it might impact others who might be on the fence?
I was literally side by side with a pig transport truck, and they have holes about so big in them that I don't know why they have those holes. I guess just for breathing purposes. But there was a pig, and I made eye contact with this pig. Wow. And you can see the white of his eyes and everything like that. And the look of abject sadness. And I'm in a car, and he's in a vehicle, and he just looks over at me. The abject sadness on his face, it just spoke volumes. It's like he was going to die later that day. And it was almost like, I know I'm going to die. And I just saw that pain in his eye, and it just made me relate.
I mean, it sounds almost melodramatic for me to say, but you can imagine that many of these experiences in history started the same way. And during the Holocaust, I'm sure that there was somebody, people are familiar with Schindler's List, that these small little moments, it wasn't somebody, just yelling in their face, but some kind of moment of compassion and humanity that resonated with them, and that was all it took for them to go, this is wrong. We thank Mercy for Animals for all that they do, and we're all part of this, so thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We're now almost at the end of this wondrous event, and the place is closing down. And right under this sign, I found two local DC areaites who have been here since
11:30.
Yeah, 11:30.
So they've seen it all, okay? They've been in the ins and the outs and the drama. Are you two vegetarians or vegans?
We're hardcore. We don't mess around.
Now, how long have you two been vegans?
I just started about 3 months ago. Oh, really? Yeah. The struggle is real, but so worth it. After all the documentaries out there that are so horrifying, I mean, nobody ever wants to see them, but when you do, like, if your life doesn't change, your head is in the sand. That's all I have to say.
And you?
I'm actually gonna be a vegan for 1 year on October 1st. So.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, did you convince your friend to become vegan?
What? No, I was vegetarian. I've been vegetarian for 6 years, but I wasn't vegan yet. But we had dinner together, and she was like, well, this is the only vegan option on campus, so this is what I'm eating. And I was like, another vegan on my campus, oh! And we've been friends ever since, so.
Awesome. And this is great because you're a newbie vegan, and you're a fairly experienced vegan. So, I mean, it's been a year. So this gives a unique perspective of, the challenges that you're experiencing, but that you've already probably overcome.
Ooh, so I've been considering myself a junk food vegan. I'm like working on making the transition to like actual real food. Because it is challenging. I'm not a huge cook. I don't have a whole lot of time. So, and I'm trying to like stay away from the like meat alternatives out there. They can be expensive and they're not exactly like the greatest alternatives. They're better, but plant-based is more ideal than that stuff. But I mean, really, it's baby steps. That's been my experience, like junk food was a start, but you can't live on junk food forever. So like I got the PETA college cookbook, so I've been working with that and just like experimenting, and I'm getting better every day. There's gonna be trip ups, but again, totally worth it.
Have you sampled the Ben & Jerry's vegan ice cream?
I literally had to stop with chips and chocolate. I am on a 1 month no chips and chocolate ban because of the Ben & Jerry's ice cream and just chocolate in general and potato chips because that was like my thing. Those are my vices, and I can't. I need to learn to like have only like one Ben & Jerry's a week or something. It's just too good.
Well, it's almost like a bad problem to have because you really represent that there's something available for whatever type of food entry point you want. If you want to come in from a junk food standpoint, you can. From a meat alternative, from purely plant-based, you can be raw, but there's really nothing denying you that entry point. So you represent a good, bad entry point. Do you know what I mean?
It's real. It's completely real. Like, you don't have to jump from like burgers to salads. Like. It takes time. It's like quitting smoking. I literally consider this like quitting smoking. Like cheese is like probably the hardest thing for everyone to give up, right? It's so good. It's salt essentially, right? But you gotta want it badly enough, and you gotta believe in all of the wonderful reasons to go plant-based.
And now you, Madame, now the pro. What are some of the challenges that you're still experiencing?
Well, last year I lived on campus in a dorm, so the biggest challenge I had was the dining hall food. I lived for breakfast I had bagels with peanut butter and banana, and then for lunch and dinner it was stir fry. The cook knew my name, he knew who I was, he recognized my face, he knew what I wanted. I lived on that essentially, and now I have my own kitchen, and I'm kind of experiencing the same problem as her, cooking my own meals.
Well, I mean, you introduced a couple of things. First of all, you're a pioneer, you're a soldier, because you're in an environment where you're having to ask something that may not be traditional for this campus or whatever you're in. And that's a struggle that people have in any environment, whether they're quitting smoking, whether they're trying to quit drinking. It's always being in that environment of friends, whether they're family or whatever, that are doing something that you're not. And for someone to kind of go, can you just maybe twist it this way? That's a pioneer that people go, what the heck are you doing? And then you never know what you might end up with. Somebody saying, okay, let's try this. So thank you for that. Keep fighting the good fight, and just be that example that a lot of people don't know that they actually are. Put you on the spot, didn't I? I'm a soldier. She gave us the look that Neo in the Matrix did when the Oracle said, "You are the one." You know that. He's like, "I'm not the one." That's what you are. Both of you represent the ones, okay? And I want to thank you. What would you say to people who are just becoming vegan, like you were, just a few months ago, interested in it, but not quite sure to go over that edge?
That is exactly where I was, and I don't know. I'm trying to think back how I felt about it as a vegetarian. I think in the back of my mind I wanted to take the plunge, but it is a challenge, and cheese tastes good and ice cream tastes good, and it's hard, and it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of new changes in my life that I have to be consistent with and keep up with, and you got to tell your family, you got to tell your friends, and people don't always understand, and it really is a major challenge. But I don't know. I love animals so much, and I'm just awakened to the facts about the environmental issues concerned with animal rights, and the way our body takes in animal products, or doesn't really. It just affects us on so many levels. It's like I can't deny the facts, and so if I want to be a part of the change for good, I have to act like it.
That's it. Beautifully stated. And you?
I would just say keep doing it, because I know that feeling. I was alone as a vegetarian for the first month of school. I knew no other vegetarians. It was hard to see my friends eat meat, and they would give me crap occasionally, and I couldn't find anything to eat at first, and it's hard. It's lonely, because it feels like you care and no one else sees it, or they just don't want to see it. But keep doing it, because it's worth it. I never want to go back. I want to be vegan for the rest of my life, and I want to keep making a change, because I'm one person, but I save how many animals a year? A lot. And just one change. It's one step, but it's still a step.
Awesome. And it's a beautiful thing to be part of that movement. A lot of people feel like they're alone, and yet there's a science behind what's happening here. There's a inevitable future that's happening here, and it's not just something made up or feel good mumble jumbo. We've seen that with everything. We've seen that, I don't know your politics, but we've seen that with the Bernie effect. We've seen it with literally any movement that we've experienced, the $15 minimum wage, etc. And so you're seeing it pick up. I was here last year, and it wasn't this many people here. It wasn't. So it's not just one person. It's you being part of a movement. It's you being part of a community. And so it's not something light that you're actually doing. By putting your foot down and saying, I'm drawing the line here, you are ensuring that the beliefs and the issues that you support are going to become the norm in the future. So thank you two very much. Good luck on your journey, and I salute both of you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I spoke for them.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
And we are here with some local celebrities. Now, they may not view themselves as local celebrities, but they are in this community. They have a very popular establishment called the Land of Kush. Please tell us just a little bit about this establishment for people who aren't aware of it and why it's one of these premier destinations.
Okay, so the Land of Kush, it's a vegan soul food restaurant. Actually, it's in Baltimore. We're not in DC yet, but it's a premier restaurant because we have all kind of people that come through. We got Stevie Wonder came through, and Rock came through. We've had Angela Davis come through, and then local Russell Simmons. We've had local people come through, all varieties come through, and we're a premier vegan restaurant in Baltimore.
One thing about us is just not the restaurant, we do social outreach. So the business of outreach into the community to teach them about this vegan soul food and the vegan way of life. That's very important to us, that contribution to the community.
And that's not uncommon with anything vegan. Anything vegan is really about community. It's not about, let's go get something to eat. That's just a foundation, and it's about everything it represents. So can you tell us a little bit about why you started this, when you started it, and a little bit about that background?
So originally I started it because there was no place to eat. Well, I was working somewhere I didn't want to work, and I wasn't feeling it. And so Elder came to me and she said, hey, I need you to write down your questions for God, listen for the answers, and write down the answers. In the process of doing that, I came up with the idea I wanted to own a restaurant. Since I was vegan, I was like, why not a vegan restaurant? And so that's how the whole idea and concept got started. And then I started doing little festivals, and then I lost money and I had to recoup money. And so I went to work for Verizon Wireless, and that's where I met this young lovely.
And I had just come to Baltimore, or just relocated to Maryland, and I've always been active in New York. That's where I'm originally from, New York. And I was looking for something to do, something meaningful, something new. And when Greg presented this idea to me of a vegan restaurant, I said, you know what, I'm going to help you, and I know exactly what we need to do. We need to bring this vegan soul food to the community, and we need to make it good, and we need to make it fresh and reel them in.
Now, there's all kinds of things colliding here. Now, it's not traditional for people to be vegan, and it's not traditional for people to be experimenting with soul food. Is there something unique that you did, or did you just make it and they came?
Well, we made it, and then we put it in their faces. We went and talked to people. We didn't pressure them, but we sold them on us, our personalities, and we went and talked to them. And
we did something risky. We took our product to the biggest African American festival in Baltimore. 99.9% of the folks that attend that festival are non-vegans. We sold out 3 days in a row.
Preach. Preach.
Preach. And that's what we did. I mean, we went to people, we told them about what we did, we let them sample the food, because what it comes down to for people who aren't vegan is, does the food taste good? And that's what we presented to them. We presented great tasting food, and everything else is out the window. Like, you don't like vegan, but you like good food, right? Okay, well, man.
We also told them why they wanted to eat this food. So we had literature out there. At that time, we didn't have access to the vegan outreach type of literature, but there was like nutrition information on why you shouldn't eat red meat. We had that type of stuff out there for folks to read, and, they were learning.
How long have you each individually been vegan?
Almost 20 years now.
I would say 8 years. 8 years.
So you two have been pioneers in more ways than one. 20 years ago to be a vegan. I mean, you might as well just be an alien from another planet.
Absolutely.
How were you able to decide to be vegan 20 years ago, maintain it, live in a world that wasn't supporting you, and now come here 2016 and you see that tipping point? You're in a brave new world now, but you saw the beginning in a way. Tell me about that.
So,
Greg's a visionary.
Okay.
No doubt.
Married him.
No doubt.
Okay, I love you too, sweetie.
But the check is in the mail.
So the thing is like, I used to listen. I still listen to hip hop. So one of my favorite artists, KRS-One, preached vegetarian food. You know, vegetarian, no beef, no hamburger. That's suicide, self-murder. Then he did a song called Beef, explaining the things that go on in the meat industry and how these cows are treated and how that impacts our bodies. And then I went on a spiritual journey. So all of that combined gave me the sense that I wanted to be vegan. I found a book with 500 recipes by a lady named Christina Perillo called The Whole Foods Way, Cooking the Whole Foods Way. And it wasn't all vegan, but the majority of it really was. And I said, you know what, I'm vegan today and I'm doing it. And then as far as, you know, you get people who are going to ridicule you or joke you, but if you grew up in an African-American community or household, like, that's kind of a commonplace thing. Like, you're going to get ridiculed, you're going to get joked, and you got to know how to snap back. And if you build up that fortitude, like, I always knew how to come back on people, and I never had a problem with people joking me. So I just went forward. And then, you know, when it was time to get out of corporate America and do my own thing and be an entrepreneur, what else to do? Like, let me open this restaurant that I've been dreaming and envisioning for a long time. You know?
Well, appreciate that. Before I ask you your story, I want to follow up on two things there. Like, you mentioned that you listen to hip hop. You always listen to hip hop. You lived hip hop, and it's just like going to the restaurant for people who just, I want to go eat. Now, these are stories. They're educational. They're preaching different aspects of life and society that people listening can pick up on. And it's not just a beat, and it's not just words to music. And you were tuned into that, just like you were tuned into the veganism. And it takes a visionary. Let me put it this way. A lot of people can get the message, but a visionary, as your lovely wife has said, sees these messages and does something with them. So you were prepared, your African-American family, right? And you're saying they built you to do all these things, but you took that and you followed the message. You followed the breadsticks. You followed the breadcrumbs, vegan breadcrumbs. And now you're here. And that's, I mean, forget about being vegan. Anybody following that true path, that true calling, I mean, that's an inspirational message in and of itself.
So what we have to do is you pick and choose. You take the messages out and apply it to your life and make changes. It's not just, like you said, it's not just listening to music, but you pick out things or anything, whether you're listening to a speaker or audio book or whatever, you pick out. And it's not just about absorbing information and having knowledge. It's about the use of that knowledge. And that's what people have to get in their head, is using the information as it applies to you, because every ripple is different for someone else. So when you go out there and you start experimenting, that experimentation is not the same for you as it might be for me. What you got out of it was a camera and a microphone, right? Or and other things. And I got food out of it and entrepreneurship out of it. You know, and these are the things that we took from it and created, you know, out of that. So, you know, getting information is great, getting knowledge is great, but using it and applying it, learning new things, gathering more information, and repeating that cycle.
Excellent. And information is neutral. It's generic. It can be good information, bad information, but it's still up to you to find what that meant and take from it.
Even if it's bad information, you choose not to use that information. And what may be bad information for you may not be bad information for me. I had no restaurant experience, right? My mother was like, don't open a restaurant. It's the height of the recession. And every financial advisor will tell you that. They'll tell you, well, you don't have experience in this. It's a recession. It may not be the right time. But that's not the same way I interpret the message. This is the time that I want to use to create something new. And so that's what we have to do with information, good or bad, use it or not use it, but it's your life and picking and choosing how to use information. Like you said, it's neutral. Use it manipulate the clay how you want to.
When people are selling, others are buying. So we were buying while everybody was selling.
And at the same time, when people are you know, what would you say? When people are
selling, people were buying.
And
so we were buying during that crisis.
But then there are times where people are buying and other people are selling, and it works both ways.
Right.
You know, it works both ways. Absolutely.
Vegans dropping some knowledge over here. Vegans be thinking on a higher level. Vegans preaching. Let me get your story.
Mine is real simple. I came to Maryland in 2005, got a physical. My cholesterol was 249 at age 33, and I was going to be prescribed meds, and I'm holistic, so that was impossible. I said, well, I can't take meds, so I had to learn how to eat better. Low cholesterol. I knew nothing about vegan, vegetarian, none of that until I met Greg at Verizon Wireless, and he started bringing these dishes to work, and I inquired about them, and then he told me his vision, and then I was intrigued. I wanted to learn more, and I said, you know what, we're going to do this together. I'm going to help you out. You know what I'm saying? He's a visionary, you know, like what he was doing. I was looking for something to do in the area. I'm a promoter. Anybody that knows me can tell you I promote the heck out of anything if I believe in what you're doing and I know it's going to make an impact. So I went in full force. And 5 years later, boom, here we are. We're growing every year. I actually partnered with another female. We created the first vegan Soul Fest in Baltimore, and we've had 7,000 people just last month. So we're working on that, you know, creating more events and opportunities. We worked on 2 hip-hop green dinners in the community, so the language of hip-hop getting to the youth, and we can continue to produce events and do more social outreach.
Excellent. Verizon Wireless, making connections in more ways than one. Yeah, all right. Wonderful story. Is there? Let me give you the platform here to say anything you want to non-vegans and vegans alike.
Create a better planet. Take the time out and create a better planet. Not only a better planet, do it for the animals, do it for the environment, but do it for yourself. We just did a food demo, and one of the things people fail to look at is how vegan food can change your physical life, can make you healthier, can make you think clearer, can give you more energy. So use that opportunity, use that platform to change yourself. And when you change yourself, you change the environment, not just from a grand scale, but also from a very local scale. Your energy changes everything, and you can change your energy just by the foods that you eat.
Exactly. I think food is important. It helps you think better, clearer, and what I would leave folks non-vegan and vegan with, step outside of your comfort zone, okay? Market with compassion. So we speak compassion, make sure you're marketing with compassion. Everyone is different, so you have to create strategies if you want to introduce folks to this lifestyle. Your circle of influence. If you're the same way for the past year, 2 years, 3 years, you might need to change your circle of influence. Each one, teach one, and step outside of your comfort zone.
That's great, and everything you said applies to veganism, but it's also so universal. These are things you can apply to any aspect of your life to make it more positive. And if you just were paying attention, you can see that so many people enter this movement, this community, and it really is a community. It's not about food. It's one aspect of furthering the planet, furthering health. People come at it from just for ethical reasons. People come at it for so many different reasons.
Those reasons. A lot of times people feel there's one way to do things. That is not true. If you're vegan because you want to eat the food, you're vegan because you want to eat the food. If you're about the animals, you're about the animals. If you're about the environment, you're about the bed. Don't let anybody tell you any different. It has to be your psychological path if you're going to really buy into it.
Awesome, great. I'll end with this and just say I met somebody earlier, and she had no input from anything. She just woke up one day and said, you know what, I don't want to be eating dairy anymore. I don't want to be eating meat. And I kept trying to press her why she felt that this was something she needed to do. There was no movie, there was no documentary. So here's somebody who just, it comes naturally. Her input was, I'm on the right path. I'm doing something the right way. I want to be better. And so that's a completely valid way, a valid entry point into this community. If you're on a positive path, a light that you're following, you're going to end up here one way or the other. And every way is valid. It doesn't matter what you did before. It just matters what you do today. Thank you guys so much. The land of Kush.
Appreciate it.
The land of Kush, we're at 840 North Utah Street, right off of Martin Luther King in Baltimore, landofkush.com.
And I said it was DC. It is DC. DC South, DC North, the greater DC. But if you're going to come see Obama, if you're going to come see the White House, drop by this place as well. It's all part of it. Thank you so much. Out.
you, man.
All right, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Anybody
you.
tell you look like Pasta News from De La Soul?
Yo. I'm told I look like somebody every other week.
But from my freedom, I choose not to eat it.
And now tell us, Erica, we will have some speakers at the event.
Yes.
So who will be there? Who can we expect?
We are going to have Marco Rahil will be out there. He's going to be talking about his transition from going vegan, carnivore to vegan. Jane Velez Mitchell is our MC. We'll have Tori Washington. He's a vegan bodybuilder. We'll have Leilani Münter. She's an eco race car driver. Her car is 100% solar powered.
She's like the Leilani Appleseed of renewable energy. And she's been going around and planting these seeds of hope and seeds of a future that's different than the one they're living in now. And it's more promising.
And for some reason, I think people respond well when the message is coming from somebody that they least expect it from.
Amongst a little bit of greatness here, a little bit of a vegan celebrity. For those who don't know you, can you tell us your story?
Yeah, so my name is Leilani Münter, and I'm a race car driver and an environmental activist, and I'm vegan. So my tagline is never underestimate a vegan hippie chick with a race car.
Now, any part of that sentence by itself would be enough to warrant not messing with you. But altogether, definitely don't mess with any of that. Say that one more time.
So my tagline is never underestimate a vegan hippie chick with a race car.
It speaks for itself. It really does. Now, in addition to racing and embarrassing men all over, you've started a little enterprise.
I did. So this has kind of been one of my passion projects for the last few years. I think vegans, we make our choice to be vegan for reasons, for ethical reasons, and we're proud usually of the choice that we're making, and we want to educate the people around us to also open our eyes to, the cruelties of the meat and dairy industry, how bad it is for our planet, the animals we share it with, for our own bodies. So I wanted to make my own vegan shirts because I was shopping for vegan shirts and I was just not finding what I was looking for, and so we only have 4 designs right now. So our tagline is animals, planet, people. That's kind of in the order. I went vegan initially for the animals and the planet, and of course it's good for people's health as well. I'm not really a healthy vegan, I'm the first to admit. I'm a vegan that likes vegan macaroni and cheese and vegan ice cream. This one is about Nikola Tesla, who's one of the most amazing inventors that has ever walked the earth.
That's very geeky. Love it.
Here in my Tesla Model S using an electric AC induction motor that was invented by Nikola Tesla. I've now driven 43,000 miles in my electric Tesla, and I have solar panels on the roof of my house, so I'm actually driving on sunshine that lands on my roof for free every single day.
That sounds like a classic song.
And then this one is Make Mars Vegan, so that is about we only have one planet Earth, and we've done a really good job of sort of screwing that up. I've worked for the last few years on a film called Racing Extinction, a documentary.
We need a getaway driver, and I knew one of the best.
I love it.
To create a heist, to hijack the world's attention.
I think we want to put in an order for a car today.
Excellent, we'll take one.
iTunes and Amazon and Google. It's from the same people that made The Cove that won the Academy Award about the dolphins.
Okay.
And this one is about the 6th mass extinction of species. And so, we only have one planet Earth, and we have not been doing a great job of taking care of it. And some of those solutions are, using clean energy like solar power, switching to electric cars, and going vegan, which is the easiest one to do. 3 times a day, all of us sit down to eat a meal, and we can choose to leave meat and dairy products off of our plate. It doesn't cost you any extra money. You don't have to invest in a new car or invest in the solar panels. There is no reason to not do it. You can get any kind of food that you're used to eating in a vegan version these days.
I actually saw Ben & Jerry's ice cream here, so yeah.
They have 4 vegan flavors at Ben & Jerry's, and there's all kinds of other, ice cream companies that are making vegan, using almonds, using coconut milk, and they're fantastic. And I feed it to, my friends that are not vegan, to my meat-eating friends. to my friends that are, into cheese and dairy products, and they eat it and they can't tell the difference. And that's when you know that we've really reached a tipping point. So it's actually my dream in February to run a vegan-themed race car at Daytona. I've raised half the money to do it. We want to give away vegan food for free to the race fan, to hundreds of thousands of race fans at Daytona. And I think that'll send a really strong message that, veganism isn't just for hippies anymore. It's for everyone. It's for NASCAR fans. It's for race car drivers. It's for UFC fighters. Like, you name it. You can find any sport in the world and you will find a vegan athlete that's kicking ass in it. I went vegan for the animals and the planet, and health isn't really my main focus, but I've actually found that a lot of my friends that I was trying to convince with the animal cruelty side and with the, the impact on our planet, as more greenhouse gas emissions go into the atmosphere from raising animals for food than the entire transportation sector. And these things, for whatever reason, didn't affect them. But then when they saw a movie that was about the health side of it, Forks Over Knives, all of a sudden they were going vegan, and I was thinking, I've been pitching the wrong two reasons this whole time. Right. So I think it's important, now I know, okay, you have to pitch the environmental reasons, the animal rights reasons, and the health reasons. And I always tell people to watch the documentaries Forks Over Knives, Cowspiracy, Racing Extinction, Earthlings, and then The Cove, which is my favorite documentary of all time, about the dolphin slaughter and the tie to the dolphin captivity industry. And Gabriella, who is the director of Blackfish, was inspired by The Cove and made Blackfish. And as you know, or maybe you don't know, SeaWorld hit an all-time low.
Oh, yeah.
In their stock prices this week, and announced that they were going to stop paying their shareholders. And I think that's just a testament to, these movements are gaining momentum.
But they also went a step further, I thought.
Well, they're stopping their breeding program.
Right.
So that was something that's happened since the movie. They actually lost $3 billion worth of market share the day after Blackfish aired on CNN, and it's never recovered. And I think they're just realizing, this is the power of the people. If we decide that what you're doing is cruel and that what you're doing is wrong, we can shut you down. It may take us some time to make that happen, but we will get there. And I feel the same way that we can have that same effect on the meat and dairy industry. And as more and more companies are making these vegan mayonnaises, vegan milks, vegan cheeses, all those things that people want, they can get vegan versions of it. It's really just sort of stupidity to keep feeding that cruelty machine, and this machine that's really polluting our earth and polluting our planet. The dairy and meat industry is incredibly harsh on the environment, and we go over that in Racing Extinction, the documentary that I worked on. So there's so many reasons to be vegan, and I can't think of one reason not to be.
I mentioned Ben & Jerry's before, but when you take a company like that, which is so, intrinsically associated with milk and Vermont and cows, and they love that culture, they support that culture, it's a wondrous thing, and yet they go, you know what, we need to make a vegan version. That's when it becomes more than just this group of rabble-rousers.
It's reaching critical mass. So in 2011, a group of scientists actually wanted to find out if there is a tipping point for ideas. Is there a point where an idea reaches a point of no return? And what they actually found was that if just 10% of the society has an unwavering belief in an idea, it is actually inevitable that the majority of the society will adopt that idea. Right. And so every person here, every person that goes vegan is tipping us closer and closer to that 10% tipping point. One of the scientists that worked on that study said he could watch the numbers really struggle very slowly to get to the 10%. But as soon as it reaches that 10% tipping point, it spreads like a wildfire. So I feel very strongly that we are getting closer and closer to that tipping point, and I have no doubt that we'll get there. And so we all just have to keep fighting for the animals, keep fighting for the planet, and eventually we'll win.
If you listen to the youth, or you listen to a new and young group outside of age, but it's a youthful, younger, newer group, you're seeing the future. Just not from a philosophical standpoint, you're really seeing the future tipping point beginning. And so this is going to happen. So I agree with you firmly that this is inevitable. And any kind of friction or anything else we're experiencing is only because we're watching the beginning. but there really isn't any friction. We know what's going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
And it's kind of an honor. Like, I feel like to be a part of the beginning of a movement, like, you know, I got an electric car back in 2013. I've now done 43,000 miles in my Tesla running off of sunshine. Whenever you're on the front lines in the beginning of a movement, you feel like every time I go out there and drive my electric car, I'm planting a seed. Every time you talk to somebody about veganism or wear a vegan shirt, you're planting a little seed in their head that's going, oh, huh, another vegan. Oh, I keep seeing that word everywhere.
Right.
That has a powerful effect. And I actually look at it as sort of a privilege that we're on the planet right now when these major changes are taking place. When we're moving away from fossil fuel technology, we're moving to renewables like wind, water, sun. We're moving away from gasoline-powered engines to electric cars. We're moving away from meat and dairy into a vegan world. Like, these are all things that are going to affect the future of the planet, the future of humanity, the future of all the species that we share it with. These are the most important issues of our time. And so it's kind of cool that we're getting to be sort of, you know, in the beginning, we're like some of the pioneers sort of like of starting and pushing the momentum until it becomes like we're the ripple that's going to become the giant wave.
Yeah. Well, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. And all I got to say is it is a wondrous opportunity to be here. You're looking at another symbol of these crazy, rabble-rousing alternative freaks, these hippies that are just destroying the world. This is what they look like. This is what they look like. So I'm not sure you can run and hide because, as you can see, they look just like everybody else. They're just the smart ones in the room. Thank you very much. All righty.
So for anyone who's thinking of transitioning to vegan, this is like a really good intro to taste things, and you're going to get a lot of different food options.
Yes, food options, a lot of great information. We'll have medical experts from the Barnard Medical Center based in DC talking about how a vegan diet is better for your health. So it's a fun day. I mean, it is really just meant to meet new people, get new information, try new
Where can people go for more information on everything we talked about here today?
DCVegFest.com.
All right.
Yeah, like the legs are shorter than
It looks like I'm asking.
Oh,
sorry.
Like, hey, I'm here with.
Well, if I don't look completely stupid, I would love copies
Actually,
of those.
yeah. Here, let me. I can edit it right now because I think like it looks a little better if it's cropped, and then we got to adjust.
Right. What you want to do is crop me out altogether, and then focus on them. You got it perfect.
Here, you want to keep it veg fest, and then. What are we doing?
You're just being cool vegans.
Okay. We're cool vegans. Yeah. High five. High five.
You guys made the mistake of being over the sign.
I had